Welcome to our Getting Started in Your Homeschool Journey series. We are on session number 7. If you have not heard the last sessions, head on over to the Homeschool Idaho YouTube page where you can hear a plethora, a variety of sessions that we've done to help you lay your foundation of homeschool up front, and then to help you choose curriculum. There's so much information there to get started on your homeschool journey, and also to share with friends who are asking you a lot of questions that you might not have the answers to. So today on session 7, we're going to talk about the big organization topic. So far, we've talked about how to pick out our curriculum, how to work this into our life. So today we're going to talk about how to actually organize your home and your homeschool. So Audra, are you ready to dive in?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I love this because if you guys listen to our learning styles, I love that. I like to organize. I thrive on organizing. But if you don't, that doesn't mean that homeschool is not for you.
Right.
You just might need to learn how to organize, and your organization is going to look different than mine. So let's dive in, Audra.
Okay. So organization. I'm like Abby. I am like a big organized person, but I live in a house with 3 children and a husband. So guess what happens to my organization?
Right.
It doesn't stay that way. So we're going to look at this in the context of real life. So one of the first things you have to consider about homeschooling is, what space are you going to be working in? You only have so much room available in your particular home. So you have to let that govern not only how you organize, but how much stuff you actually allow yourself to have to homeschool with. So if you look over my shoulder, you can see some of my space, right? My shelves and my dresser. And that is essentially my homeschool material, fits in that space. And I have a table. I just have an awkward space in my house. So I threw a table in it and a couple of shelves, but it stays in this space because I don't have room in the rest of my home for stuff to overflow everywhere. So consider this your space constraints in your home.
Yeah, I like that. So your home, your existing setup is what will determine what your homeschool organization looks like. So one of the misconceptions is, I've chosen to homeschool, so now I need to make everything around me fit that, which is not really true. Like, I need a homeschool room. I don't have one, so I can't homeschool. Or, I need a separate space. I don't have it, so I'm going to send my kids to public school. And that is not true. What you have will work. I mean, I don't care if you are living in a shed in someone's backyard. You can make it work. So do not let that be a deterrent. We're just going to help you. How can we make that work? And just to throw this in there, I'm going to do an Instagram live and a Facebook live as I set up my space this fall, just to show you. I do not have a homeschool room. In fact, I use my dining room table and a little corner, and it works wonderfully. So we just want to break that misconception that you have to have this big, beautiful homeschool room to make homeschool work for you. That is not necessary. It might be nice, but it is not necessary. So
exactly. Well, and I know you see a map over my shoulder. Okay, all this is strategically placed so that you can't see it from anywhere in my house, because this is just a corner of a big open room.
Right.
And the clutter of books and things on my wall is overwhelming to me and the rest of my space. And so I've been very strategic about how I set this up. And so that's kind of one of our tips or ideas for you is as you organize your homeschool, you set up your homeschool space. You don't have to make it look like a schoolroom.
Right. Correct.
Make it fit your home style. If you're a minimalist, keep these things tucked away and contained in their little boxes and in a shelf.
Right.
If you're kind of the cozy hygge type personality, that your home is filled with the throw blankets and the soft, cushy blankets, well, then maybe your homeschool material is tucked into pretty little baskets that are scattered around the house. And you homeschool on the couch with a whole bunch of pillows and blankets, or build nests in the middle of the living room floor to homeschool in.
Make it fit you. I cannot stand seeing school stuff all over my house. That doesn't bother a lot of people. Some people, it's everywhere because they're just doing it all the time. It's about what works for you and what works for your family. So, so you've already established we don't need a structured place to do school each day, right?
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, the and where you do school in your home is probably going to be governed, I mean, obviously by the space itself, but
Mhm.
are your kids easily distracted?
Ooh, good one.
So if your kids are easily distracted, maybe you do need to be tucked away into a corner and with your
Right,
material all pulled around you.
right.
If your kids thrive looking out the kitchen window and do their school on the counter because
Mhm.
they're part of the family unit and group and the world going on around them, and
Right.
that's where they do school best, it's okay to do school on your kitchen counter.
Exactly. Exactly.
So bear in
Right.
mind your kids' personality as to what they need in order to stay on task with what needs to be done.
Exactly, exactly. If you like to take your school outside, we do that a lot.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what? There is not a rule to say that your school has to be done in a seated position at a
exactly.
desk all day.
Right.
So homeschool organization does it looks different for different families. It looks
Right.
different for different learning styles.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, what else do
And
you have?
well, some of the things we talked about outdoor classrooms, but some parents have very busy schedules. Maybe they have an older teen who's involved in some athletic program, and their third grader is now going all these games, to baseball games, during the school year.
Right.
So that homeschool parent may have a bag or a backpack organized with a clipboard of the materials that are going to need to be covered that week, and they just tore all the pages out of the book, and so they have essentially like a binder or a clipboard way of organizing their homeschool. Their books
I
are all
love that.
tucked away in the corner, and then they just pull out what they need for the week or the day, and then they tuck it in a backpack and they go and do their school at a
Yep.
baseball game
On the road. I have a lot of
on the
families that I
road.
know that do a lot of on the road from activity to activity schooling.
Hmm.
Very cool.
So I started out with my kids, I had little desks. So this is another thing or a misconception, or it may work really well, is that
Right.
maybe your kids need separate little desks that can be tucked into different corners of the house. And
Right.
then they keep their pencils and their color crayons or their, thesaurus tucked into the desk and they work at that desk.
Right.
Some you're better off gathered around at the kitchen table because it's
Mhm.
easier to manage the kids, and they interact and they stay on task better when everybody's
Yep.
in one space.
Yep. And different
So,
subjects warrant different settings. When my kids do their
mhm,
math and their reading, they have to go to their own rooms and their own desks. They like
mhm,
that. I'm doing my math. And then for science and history, we are all in it together, all hands on
yes,
deck at the dining room table or on
right,
the couch for read aloud. So don't feel like your homeschool happens in one place either.
exactly,
So, okay, what
exactly.
about all this? Oh, Audra, this stuff. We talked about homeschool curriculum last time, which means I have all these books and I have all these notebooks and these pens and these pencils and stuff everywhere. And I know that some moms can handle the stuff everywhere, but
Right,
not all kids can and not all families can. So, what are some tips for
right.
for all the stuff?
All the stuff. Well, one of the best tips is actually to keep everything together. So
Yes.
all your books, your notebooks, everything, keep it in one place. And it could be on the bookshelf in your living room where all of your family's regular just reading books are, and you've cleared a shelf for your homeschool books. And that's where it gets tucked. And then your pencils and pens and miscellaneous stuff get tucked in a pencil box and stuck on the shelf. And it's
Right.
all there together.
So that kids,
Um,
this is one of the things with homeschool. A lot of your homeschool day, if not managed well, can be spent just looking for things, finding
yes.
things. You do not want to spend 40 minutes looking for pencils. And there are those kids who will cash in on every opportunity to go look for a pencil and then you find them doing Legos. So if all your stuff is in one place, it
Hmm.
is going to make your day flow easier and it's going to be quicker. You're going to get it done a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
faster.
And I do that. My kids love art and
Mm,
doing drawings and stuff like that, but I have pencils, colored pencils, and certain things that are designated for school only. So they are
right.
not allowed to raid the school supplies
Yep.
for their just playtime activities or their regular
Exactly.
day to day.
That's
So
a
that's
great idea.
another organizational option. The
Yep.
other thing is, okay, who doesn't love the 130,000 crayon box with, every color under the rainbow, right?
Right. Right.
They're so fun, but when they are scattered everywhere and you need that one color, so
Ugh.
sometimes the
Less
solution
is
is
more.
less is more.
Yes. Yes.
Less is more.
Yes.
Um, so we also get, as homeschool parents, we can get really super excited at doing a school at home, and we go back to our best memories and we
Mhm.
remember, okay, that cool box of crayons, or we used to sit on these fun little mats on the floor for this time of day and this activity, or we had XYZ coloring books, or I had lined paper for this project and blank paper for that project.
Right.
And before you know it, you've got 100,000 different things in your house. And my suggestion for our new homeschool parents is start with as little as you
Yes.
possibly can. There's a Walmart on every street corner. If you need that, add it to your shopping list for that week and
Right.
snag it when you're out. Don't
Yep.
go buy
No.
anything unless you know you will actually need it to do your schoolwork.
Right, right, for sure. And every kid does not need a ruler. You can get one ruler, have it in a central location, and kids can
Mm-hmm.
share it. So,
Right.
again, minimizing it's very good to start as a minimalist, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
add on so that you don't get overwhelmed, so your kids don't get overwhelmed.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
good, very good.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, so we kind of got our stuff organized, we've got our space organized. Now I need to get myself organized. So once I
Right.
get my curriculum, once I have my schedule, go back and listen. We did a whole session on how to schedule your year, your week, your days. But now I need a place. How do I organize these lessons? How do I organize, my end of things as the teacher?
Right. So there's a couple of options. One, a lot of curriculum already comes with planners in them.
Hmm.
And it will just say cover page X to page Z, and then you check it when you're done and you've covered it and you can just move
Right.
through your day that way. You can schedule your day and set it up in a basic, you know, calendar planner that you'll go down to Walmart and buy. And you can make notes in there of, oh, we need to cover history on this day and we need to cover math this day. And you can get as detailed as you want. You can say, I need to cover math lesson 72
Right.
on this day. And
Right.
or you can break it down by pages. Um, but one of the things to not get caught up in is that, again, the planner is a tool.
Yes.
Use a pencil because
Yes.
life is going to happen and you're going to get behind and then you're going to get ahead and then you're going to
Right.
be right on target. Something's going to happen. So use a pencil, whatever planner you choose.
Right. And one thing that I've seen moms do, I mean, I like to plan and I like to lesson plan, but hold it very, very loosely,
Mm-hmm.
because again, it doesn't control you. But one thing I've seen moms do is rather than write down their plan for the week, what they do is they do the work and then they write down what they did instead of writing. So
Yes.
that so at the end of the day, you write down all the things you did, and that way you're
Right.
never getting behind because there is no behind. You are just
Mm-hmm.
accomplishing every day something in each subject area, and then you write that down. So
Right.
it's more of a record
Right.
keeping as opposed to a future planner. So again,
Right.
do what works for you. There are so many
Mm-hmm.
shiny, beautiful homeschool planners out there. They may not work for you. It might
Right.
not work for you. You might just want to do a boring old black and white database. Again, what works for you and what is going to practically help you, because some of those shiny things out there can actually cause us more stress because we feel like we need to do
Exactly.
them, right?
Right.
So,
So yeah, totally. And some parents will even use, that's kind of called planning from behind.
right,
So you're covering material and you make a
right,
note and you've got records for perpetuity of what you covered on that particular day.
right.
But some parents will journal what they
Yes.
do in a day. They'll just have a
Yep.
plain Jane journal.
Yep.
They'll put a date at the top. We covered this topic. We had this
Exactly.
discussion. The kids did these things.
Yep.
And that works for some parents
It
too.
does. It works for a lot. It would not work for me, but it works the way I do it would not work for a lot. So again, the freedom.
Right.
So you had mentioned like kind of record keeping.
Hmm.
So how do we organize records? What do we need to have for records? What do we keep? What do we throw away? And how do you organize that?
So this is going to be governed a little bit by grade.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to ask to see your kids' kindergarten
Right.
materials. Nobody
Right.
who, other than for the sentimental value to you as a parent
Right.
and to be able to look back and see the progress they've made.
Right. And you don't want to take the
Always,
paper they just did and throw it in the garbage in front of them. So
right.
at least keep
So
it a little while.
there's a number of ways you can do this. As you get farther on, you might find it more valuable to keep more consistent records, and especially up into high school where you're going to in the future be making a diploma for your child, issuing a
Right.
diploma. Those records become important.
Right.
But there's a couple ways you can do a portfolio where you have a file folder and you throw examples of their progress through the year. So you might throw
Okay.
something from the first week and then mid-year and then the last part of the year
Okay.
on the same subject into a portfolio. Keep sometimes like your math will have a weekly test at the end of the year. Just keep the tests, score the
Right.
test, keep the tests, throw the worksheets away. You don't need
Right.
to be overwhelmed by all the stuff. You can put them in a file, a binder. So I would do, completed assignments. And again, that's a lot of that up through high school is up to high school is just for your own benefit to be able to
Right.
see how your kids are progressing. And it's nice
Right.
to look back and go, oh, wow,
Right.
look at everything we did this year. I
Yes.
didn't feel like we're getting anything done, but now look at this.
Right. Yeah. That's a great idea. So, it is fun to keep the big things. It's fun for the kids to look back for a sense of
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment, you know? Is it necessary in those early years? It depends what state you're in, but here in Idaho, no.
Right.
Okay, so lots of organization ideas. Here's the thing, in 2020, it's everywhere. You can get on Pinterest and you can see 1,000 organization ideas for homeschool. You can see how to organize books and supplies. Don't get bogged down by that, but there are great
Right.
ideas out there. But again, those can be overwhelming. So just kind of know what you need, know what you're looking for. But with that said, we want to see at Homeschool Idaho, we want to see, what does your learning space look like? We're not looking for Pinterest worthy
Yeah.
things. We want
No.
real life homeschooling. So go get your pictures, take a picture of your workspace and throw it on social media and hashtag Homeschool Idaho. And just and we have the homeschool freedom that all of our school spaces look different. The way we do
Mm-hmm.
things look different. But let's share ideas with one another. It'd be really fun to see what you guys are doing out there, what your organization looks like, how it works in your homes. I love to see different homes. It's funny, as a homeschool mom, I walk into someone's house for the first time, and the first thing I do is look around and go, how would I homeschool in this house?
Exactly.
And
It changes your whole mindset, doesn't
it
it?
totally does. So we'd love to see your pictures, how you homeschool. Get over there, hashtag Homeschool Idaho. Head over to Homeschool Idaho YouTube channel to see all of our past sessions from this series. And stay tuned for more. Share with your friends and check out our other sessions. Thanks for joining us, and happy
Yes.
homeschooling.